So at this point, I just want to show an example of using a custom gesture with switch control when it starts up. This is for somebody who might just be using it for cause and effect. So in my shortcuts I've created one that's called Fruit Ninja Cut. So I'm going to open that and just show you what's inside this actions of this shortcut. So the first one we've got up there is some alerts. I have 2 alerts up there. Then I've got Open Fruit Ninja Classic. And I've got Turn Switch Control on, and then another alert. So these alerts, they are warnings that you can put in some text that will start up whenever you want. You program it to do, but it gives a little bit of text to give some guidance if you want when you start the app. And it can be really useful if you're using with someone who's not so familiar with how to set up the switches. So we've got a few things in here that are going to happen when I run the shortcut, but it's going to start off with a couple of advice text boxes. And so this is the first one, and it's all about how the switches are connected. Have you done Bluetooth yet? If you follow those instructions on making sure that the Bluetooth connection is correct. If you have, then you can go on to the next step. But if you haven't, you can cancel and get your Bluetooth connected first. So this is what would run when you start your shortcut. You'd see this text box first. And there's just lots of things that can go wrong with the Praetorian and getting the right settings in place and making sure that the switches are plugged in the right port, that the settings are correct. The settings can get changed if someone's pressing the buttons or doesn't quite know what the buttons do, and maybe they're trying to start the connection and that changes the buttons. So you can change that really easily and by mistake. And so you can put the instructions at this point to say what the settings should be on the Praetorian applicator that would make sure that the connection works. So all that can be in this text box here so that you're on the right step. Okay, and so the next one is just making sure that the switches are plugged into the right port. So the first one was all about Bluetooth connections, and then now it's just making sure that the switches are set up correctly, that you've got them maybe on the right place in the right tray, and it also says that there's one switch that does one action, but the second switch on this setup doesn't do anything. So you can see the text there says that the yellow switch has no function in this app. So you just have the expectations correct when you go to run this shortcut, what's going to happen. So it just gives some advice before you move on to the shortcut itself. So now it's going to give one final piece of advice. Is it's opened the app up, but it's going to say, when you use this app and you want to prompt the student to, press the switch, which we don't want to say. We want to say what's going to happen as a result of pressing the switch. So it gives a bit of advice there about what you might say to prompt when you're using this switch. So I'm just going to come out of this bit here. Like I said, we've already started switch control. You can see it's lit up at the top there. And this is going to use the custom gesture of swiping on the screen. So I've set up this custom gesture already, and I hold down a long time, it does a stripey sort of custom gesture. If I hit it one time really quickly, it does this back and forth. But if I hold down on it, it'll do one where I'm doing some down slashes like that. So the custom gestures are really customizable, and you can do them with loads of different applications. So in summary, this shortcut gives some text that tells you how to set up the switches, and make sure your connection's correct, and then how to use the app. Then it launches the app. That was another action. And then the final action is to launch switch control, start up switch control, and then you're set to go to use this shortcut altogether with someone using cause and effect switches.